How to make a movie for less than a luxury car. So last week I spoke about all the rejection I had gone through, and it was either find the missing piece of the financing puzzle from some magical source, or to take a leap of faith and do it on my own. So that's what I did. Now, as much as I like being honest, I really don't want to talk too much about the specifics of our budget. It's sort of like unzipping your pants and revealing your stuff for everybody to see. People are either going to be really impressed with what you had to work with, or they're going to dismiss you for being a total nobody.
Well, you ain't nobody.
Now, I know nothing about cars, but let's just say the movie cost more than a Toyota Matrix, but less than a 2011 BMW 7. Now, as you know, movies aren't cheap, even the independent kind, so all that money had to come from somewhere. So where'd I get my money from? A couple of years ago, there was this fund called the Intellectual Properties Development Fund, which essentially gave me a rebate on all the development work I'd put into various film and television projects. So that was about 1/3 of the pizza. Another third was put in by an angel investor, a rare superhuman being with the capacity and ability to put up an extended loan without charging interest.
You get a call! 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 You get a call!
That left another 1/3 of the pizza to still fund. It was enough to shoot the movie, so that's what we did. So I chose a start date and assembled a team. And the first on board were two guys who were as crazy and passionate as I was. The legendary Avi Fettergreen, who's made a ton of great Canadian feature films, and everyone's favorite comedian, Christian Potenza, who's been in a ton of great Canadian feature films. Both great guys to have on set and people who get shit done. Who else was there? There was Carl Elster, DOP extraordinaire, also lactose intolerant. Alexander Verderman, production manager. Dutch. And many more talented, young, and eager crew. Eager meaning they aren't likely to complain a lot when we go on a road trip across the province without much food or shelter.
This is just the energy that I'm going to need for today.
So for actors, I went through the ACTRA TIP program, which allowed me to access the best union actors at indie film prices. But with 2 weeks to go, am I going to find anyone who wants to be in this movie? The first person I called was Paula Brancati from Degrassi and Being Erica. I'd worked with her before on a kids show like 10 years ago, and have kept in touch with her ever since.
Sean!
Good. Lead actors cast, done, moving on. All the cameo players were assembled by Christian Potenza, and this is the benefit of having a popular actor on board to help produce. We needed someone to play an alcoholic banana.
Let me call Art Hindle.
We need an insane karaoke host.
Ali Rizvi Bacha would be perfect.
Instead of spending days sifting through headshots and doing auditions, we just used Christian's Rolodex on his iPhone. So only after a couple of days of auditioning, we have found all the roles for our film, including the wonderful Nick, Paula, Kyle, and Kristen, the 4 young leads who we were going to spend the next 4 weeks with. The rules of indie filmmaking on a low budget are pretty simple. Use as few locations as possible, use as little actors as possible, and just try to keep everything very simple and manageable. We filmed in about 25 locations using 30 speaking actors.
You're nuts.
You can't make a road trip movie without going anywhere or meeting anybody. Our locations were relatively easy to source because in the writing stage we wrote around what we could get access to. What camera did we use, do you ask? The famous Canon 7D, this little sucker right here that you can get at any Best Buy or Future Shop, with a few added gizmos here and there. I can't say I wasn't worried what veterans like Art Hindle and Jane Eastwood were going to say when they stepped onto our set, but they embraced this new technology and this fun, low-pressure, quick way of capturing high-quality moving images. It was fun. Our schedule was short but intense. About 14 full days and 16 hours a day. Our team went to Richmond Hill, Aurora, Oak Ridges, King City, Oakville, Barrie, Aurelia, and finally to the small town of Moon Point in Oro-Medonte, Ontario. We shared many laughs along the way and maybe a few fights here and there. A word of advice, if you have a lactose intolerant crew member, don't put out a cheese tray as the only available snack. It's okay, we all love each other now, especially the actors. Nick, Paula, Kyle, Kristen, their enthusiasm, humor, and passion every day made production the best working experience of my life. So now we have 14 days of footage in the can, or on the card. Now what? Next week we'll talk about what it's like when a director edits his own work, how everyone thought it sucked, then we brought in a professional, and then everybody loved the movie. Troubles in post. Next week.